Hi everyone, it's Carolyn with livingwithasthma.net, and we're excited to be here today with the latest in our series, Asthma House Calls, where we sit down and talk about health issues in the asthma community. Today's segment's really important to me, both as an asthma mom and as an asthmatic myself, because it's all about asthma, exercise, and healthy living. Lately, I've been trying to get into shape, and I've been trying to help Jack get into shape as well. And well, for those of us with asthma, this isn't always the most fun thing to do. So today we've brought in an expert. We have with us today Luke Sniewski. He's an author, a lifestyle and fitness coach, and he's been authored in many publications such as Men's Health, Huffington Post, San Francisco Chronicle, LA Business Journal, and others. And he has more professional certifications than we can even mention in this interview today. So welcome, Luke. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, joy, and an honor. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. So I know every household's a little different, but let me tell you about the situation in our household. I have two boys. Jack is 11, and he's my asthma kid. My husband's very active. He's a runner. My younger son loves to run, in fact, and does kids' fun runs, and he's getting involved in 5Ks. And I've recently taken up running and tennis and things myself in an effort to get, in shape. So I thought it'd be a nice thing to do with the family. But Jack doesn't really like to run much because he gets kind of winded easily. And right now his main sport is golf, which isn't, very physically active aside from swinging the club. He hops back on the cart and goes to the next one. So really looking for ways to get him started and to get me continuing. So with that said, do you have any tips for helping us get started, helping an asthmatic child get started on an exercise program?
I think that when working with an asthmatic child, we still have to understand that we're working with a child, and we have to address that first. So you want to make it fun. You want to make it a game. Anytime that you can challenge him, anytime you can turn it into a game, like how many reps of this can you do in a minute, or how long will it take you to do this? And if you turn it into a challenge, especially a young boy, he's going to want to overcome that. It's just in his nature to want to play a game. Mm-hmm. And if you keep track of that and you make it a long-term game, that's definitely going to keep his attention. And then more importantly, now you have to address the fact that he's an asthmatic child. You have to progress a little more slowly. You have to progress a little more cautiously. So you want to make sure you're constantly monitoring, getting feedback, and communicating. And this is a great job. This is a great time for two things. For one, you get to have Jack learn to connect with his body. So if you're talking to him, ask him how he's feeling, then he has to look inward and say, think about how he's feeling and then communicate it back to you. So it's going to open communication lines. And then even more important, it allows you to have a objective rather than subjective response, because if you display confidence in his abilities to progress and his abilities to be active and athletic, then he's not going to have the behavioral response. If a parent's freaking out, then the child's going to mirror that reaction and they're going to freak out, and it could create a long-term pattern where they're not pushing themselves, but they could, but they're just being stopped mentally rather than by their actual asthmatic symptoms. Mm-hmm. So it requires a lot more communication and a little more care when you're dealing with an asthmatic child, but have fun, progress them, let them have, it's a game at the end.